I don't remember. All right, let's move on to something probably not as positive, and that is the Memphis Tigers right now. And Penny Hardaway in his fourth year. Before the season, he gets Emoni Bates, he gets Jalen Duren, two top kids, high school kids, reclassify, puts him with a really good, returning a bunch of transfers, Landers Nolly, DeAndre Williams, Lester Quinones is back, and they get blitzed tonight. I mean, they got run off the court in Brooklyn by an Iowa State team that honestly most people had either last or maybe ahead of Kansas State in the Big 12 this year. And give Iowa State credit, and TJ Otzelberger has done one hell of a job. I've said this fits him. UNLV did not fit TJ Otzelberger. Iowa State fits him, but how much of this is Iowa State beating a Memphis team that we ranked in the top 10? They're just not that good. They don't have a point guard. That's my big issue with Memphis is I don't care if you have Larry Brown, John Wooden, and whoever else on the bench coaching a team. You guys know this, Arch. I'm not gonna say you didn't have a point guard, but Rob Finney wasn't maybe quite the level that you had hoped he'd be. And I'm not asking you to hammer him at all, but you need a high level point guard to be able to win, and be able to go deep in the tournament and win your league.
Yeah, I mean, I think guard play in general is it's paramount. You got to have it, especially with the way that Memphis, their style is set up. They have a feast or famine style of play, but I think in their defense, real competition over the weekend, beating a good Virginia Tech team, and then they lost to a really, 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 really hard playing, confident Iowa State team. I mean, let's not take that away. I mean, those guys have played their butts off in both of those games. But the thing with Memphis is this: they're young, they're super talented, and they're going to have to just, at the end of the day, they're going to have to just tidy some things up. But they're 350 in the country in turnover rate on offense. There's only 351 teams. Yeah. So, that's not going to get it done. That's got to come down. I think part of that is they're playing a breakneck speed. They have a lot of young guys out there, and they have to calm that down a little bit. And I think once they do that, which they'll have to if they're going to try and make a run. But, defensively, how they're playing with the full court, the switching, the chin on shoulder, the game is going to get crazy with the way that they play. And, if they turn you over, they're going to be able to convert. If they don't turn you over against good teams, if they can't do it, they're going to be in a half court game, and that's not going to be in their favor. But the whole deal with Memphis is obviously getting calmed down in terms of the turnover offensively. They have the troops, and they got a lot of talent.
22 turnovers tonight, Rob. 22. And again, Alex Lomax, a really good backup point guard for a team that maybe could contend or go to Sweet 16. Emoni Bates. Listen, when Penny told me in the summer after he got Emoni Bates, and he said to me that would probably be their first option at the point, that's when I said, all right, they're in trouble, because Emoni Bates is a scorer. He's not a point guard. He impressed me over the summer with his passing and court vision. It was better than I had seen it 2 years ago, but he's a flat out scorer. And he's also really young, and it's going to take him time. I hope he stays another year in college, because I think his second year in college, he could be a lot of what people thought he'd be.
I mean, this is what we saw from Memphis last year too. Remember we heard about the Lion offense and whatever that was? Well, they run the Lion offense or what they ran tonight. It's been horrible. They get in the half court, they can't score. Archie talked about their defense. They're going to pressure you. They're going to turn you over. I have such concerns about Memphis scoring the ball against anyone that's going to competently handle their pressure. They can't score. It is
like Houston.
But Robbie, here's what I would say though, just kind of looking at them. Number one, keep in mind, obviously, not only do they have an influx of new players, but they're really, really young, right? And they're on a neutral court in New York for the first time. Like the one thing that you say, let's say if Purdue basketball is number 3 in America today, because now games have been played on defense. They're third. Going into the game, I think they were first. Like that shows you like there's a reason. There's some talent there that in some teams' best attempt, they couldn't sniff third. They're just not talented enough. What Art said, and Art, I'll correct you on one thing. There are more teams in college basketball because in teams stealing the ball against Memphis, they're 356th.
Oh, so there's
so
six
think
more
about it.
than I thought.
So let's flip it. If you're third on defense and you're 350th in turnovers and 356 in people stealing the ball, live ball turnovers, like I think that's something you can fix if you just don't play as fast. You know, I think I'm going to give Larry Brown, Penny enough credit where in the next 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, that's something that can really be correctable. But what they have, 90% of the country can't even sniff, and that is they're so talented, quickness-wise, depth-wise, athleticism, size. And when you can be a top 5 defensive team, it's just a matter of the question, how much better can they get at taking care of the ball? Because like you said, they couldn't score, Robbie. I would worry more about that if I saw, you know, they're turning it over, maybe they're 50th. Then I would be like, you're right. But part of you can't score if you don't shoot, you know? And by the way,
think about this though. Last year, 308. Year prior to that, 338. This is not like a new thing for their team. So
meaning turnovers?
Yes.
Right. I'm going to give one guy enough credit, and I don't want to overstep my bounds because I know Penny's the coach. There's no way Larry Brown is going to sit there next to Penny and let that happen for the third year in a row. That's a gentleman's bet right there, Robbie.
I like
if we
it.
check back here in early March, Memphis still may turn it over, but they'll be considerably better. And only thing I'd say is
What's our number? 275?
we'll have to I tell you what, I'm going to say
Where are we
this.
looking at? Over under?
How much better? That's
They'll get it
right.
in the low 200s. They'll get it to that point. But here's the thing. Think about this. Do you know how hard it is to be good on defense when you're 356 and teams stealing the ball?
Constantly handing the ball. Yeah, that's hard.
I'm going to tell you, Memphis is going to have a great year. And when you get to March, they're going to have this fixed as much as they've had the last 3 or 4 years. And if they do, look out. They just have ingredients that most of college basketball don't have. And right now you see it on defense. You'll start seeing it more on offense.
Well, the one thing is you can't, I say it again, they went to Brooklyn, it's neutral. Emoni Bates and Jalen Duren and those guys, like last year Emoni was a junior in high school. And Jalen Duren, you know, although at Mount Verb, maybe a little bit different, but they haven't even played a college road game yet. I mean, they're going to go through some of these ups and downs here early on. But I think once they kind of get into conference play, especially at home, they're going to be really tough to deal with in Memphis, you know, with the way that they play. But they got they got to get the turnovers down.